Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure review. Alright, so we're going to jump into the time machine and travel back a whole 30 years to the year 1994 as we take a look at this. This is one of my favorite toys in my collection, and we have a history together. This was produced by Trendmasters back in 1994. It was part of the Godzilla Wars line. This is Up Godzilla. And this figure is actually incomplete. I'm missing his armor accessories. So it kind of like fascinates me that Godzilla toys, I think they've always just been around. I don't think there's ever been like a real gap when they weren't making Godzilla toys. Like right now, Playmates is producing a line of Godzilla and Kong toys. Bandai, they've always been producing Godzilla toys for like ever. And in the mid and late 90s, you had Trendmasters, who was producing their line of Godzilla toys, which kind of like reached its point with the 1998 release of the American film that had Matthew Broderick, if you remember that version of Godzilla. But this is one of my favorite Godzilla toys, and there was a point in time when me and him, we had to part ways. This is one of those stories of where boy meets girl and boy thinks he needs to give up toy collecting. And I sold like chunks of my collection, and this guy was unfortunately a casualty of that. I sold him to one of my local collectible toy stores. I don't know why. It's not like this was a big toy that filled up a lot of space, but for whatever reason, I felt like I had to let him go, even though he graced my desk and my studio space all throughout college and in my adult and creative years of my life. So I sold him, and then every time I'd visit the toy shop, I'd see him on a shelf sitting in the back collecting dust. And I think after maybe like 2 years, he was still there. Surprisingly, no one bought him. I think he was just maybe hidden away, and maybe people just didn't take notice. And then I'm like, I felt so bad that I sold him off, because I'm kind of weird. Like I kind of like personify my toys. I'm not sure if it's something that's kind of carried with me throughout since childhood, but I always kind of viewed toys as like, they're not just strictly toys, but like, I don't know, maybe like they're embodied with like spirits and souls, much like those haunted dolls you see on like, Ghost Adventures or at Zach Bagans Museum in Las Vegas. So I kind of felt bad that, I sold them away, and then I'm like, I need to bring them back home. So I caved in and I brought them back home and I cleaned them up. And ever since, I put them proudly on display in my entertainment center. And it's one of my favorite Godzilla toys because it's such a basic toy, but I really feel like it embodies the spirit of Godzilla and what he represents. For something from 1994, it's well sculpted. It looks like Godzilla. He has the jagged fins running down his back. The articulation isn't the greatest. His tail moves, his arms move, and his head moves, and his legs. And it's just nice. It's a nice basic toy. It's very much in scale with some of the offerings that Playmates gives nowadays in their 6-inch line. But like I said, this guy's incomplete. He was part of the Godzilla Wars line. And then there was a gimmick where he had all these like snap-on armor pieces. And he looked silly with them, and I think when I first bought the toy, I put all the armor pieces on him, and I'm like, he looks stupid, and I threw all the armor pieces away, and I'm like, I just want my Godzilla to look like Godzilla. So, it's one of my favorite toys in my collection. I feel bad that I sold him off, but I'm so fortunate that I was able to buy him back, and that's just me being crazy. So, excellent action figure, and I'm sure everyone, who's a toy collector has maybe some sort of sentimental value to some action figure or toy in their collection. It's kind of like that episode of The Simpsons where Maggie's like really attached to her like teddy bear, and then I think Mr. Burns like acquires it at some point. Or no, I think it's Mr. Burns' teddy bear at first, but then I think Maggie acquires it, and then it kind of becomes a struggle to see who owns the bear at the end. But yeah, I'm sure everyone who's watching this probably has some sort of affinity or fondness for a toy in their collection, or maybe something they had and lost or sold. But yeah, if you can ever reclaim a tiny piece of your youth in any way, and if it's affordable, I'd say go for it. You know, the flood of memories that'll bring back, I think, is priceless. Especially in this day and age when we talk about mental health, I think there's something nice about being able to revisit the brighter spots of your life and of your youth. And if that's contained within a simple toy, and if it's something you can easily acquire, just go for it. It's nice to be reminded of your childhood every now and then, especially if it's a bright spot. All right, so with that being said, let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. All right, later.